standing backstage at the University of Oregon's graduation ceremony, and my hands won't stop shaking. Not because I'm about to walk across that stage as valedictorian, not because 3,000 people are waiting to hear my speech.
Not even because my parents flew in from Chicago and they're sitting in the third row, probably crying already. No, I'm shaking because Jake Harrison is out there. My ex-boyfriend, the guy who told me I was too obsessed with grades. The guy who said I'd end up alone because I cared more about my GPA than our relationship. The guy who dumped me exactly 14 months ago, 3 days before my organic chemistry final, and nearly destroyed everything I'd worked for. He's sitting in the front section, row 5, seat 12. I counted, and he brought someone with him, a blonde girl in a yellow sundress who keeps touching his arm and laughing at something on his phone. My best friend Sarah grabs my elbow. Emma, breathe. You're going to be amazing out there. But I can't breathe because Jake just looked up at the stage entrance, saw me watching, and smiled. Not a friendly smile. Not an apologetic smile. A smile that says he knows something I don't. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Looking forward to your speech, Em. Let's catch up after. We need to talk. It's important. Jay. The ceremony coordinator taps my shoulder. Miss Chen, you're up in 2 minutes. I delete the text. I smooth down my graduation gown. I think about the Microsoft offer letter sitting in my apartment, the acceptance I signed last week for their Seattle office. Starting salary, $95,000. I think about every night I stayed up until 3 a.m. studying while Jake complained I wasn't paying him enough attention. 2 minutes until I walk out there. 2 minutes until whatever Jake is planning. I met Jake Harrison during my freshman orientation at U of O 3.5 years ago. He was a junior, studying business, president of his fraternity, and he had this confidence that made everyone in the room turn and look when he walked in. Including me. We started dating 2 weeks later. My roommate said I was lucky. My parents said he seemed like a nice young man when we video called them together. For the first year, it was good. Great, even. He'd pick me up after my biology labs. We get Thai food and watch movies in his apartment. He called me his little genius and said he loved how passionate I was about pre-med. But sophomore year, things shifted. I made Dean's List both semesters freshman year. I got accepted into the honors college. I started volunteering at the university hospital 15 hours a week, shadowing doctors, learning everything I could. And Jake started making comments. You're always studying. Do you even miss me when we're apart? Your friends are boring. All they talk about is classes and internships. I feel like I'm dating your calendar, not you. At first, I tried to balance it. I'd skip study groups to have dinner with him. I'd turn down extra hospital shifts to go to his fraternity parties. I stopped talking about my research project because he'd zone out whenever I mentioned it. But it was never enough. Junior year was when it got bad, really bad. I was taking 18 credits, working on my honors thesis, applying for summer research programs. Jake was coasting through his marketing classes and partying 4 nights a week. He started showing up at the library where I studied, demanding I leave early. He'd call me selfish for choosing homework over him. He told me I was turning into a robot who only cared about achievements. My grades started slipping. Not dramatically, but enough. A minus here, B+ there. My thesis advisor asked if everything was okay at home. Then came the night of the breakup, March 15th of last year. I remember the date because it was 3 days before my organic chemistry final, the hardest exam of my college career. We were supposed to have a quiet dinner. Instead, Jake said we needed to talk. He told me he couldn't do this anymore, that I was too ambitious, too career-focused, too cold. That he'd met someone else, someone who actually made time for him, someone who knew how to have fun. Her name was Melissa. She was in his marketing cohort. They'd been seeing each other for 2 months. I didn't cry in front of him. I waited until I got back to my apartment. Then I collapsed on my bathroom floor and sobbed for 3 hours. I failed 2 practice exams that week. I couldn't focus. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Sarah practically moved into my apartment. She made me soup. She quizzed me on reaction mechanisms. She sat with me at 2 a.m. when the panic attacks hit. I passed that Orgo final. Barely. Got a B-, the lowest grade of my entire college career. But I also made a decision that night, sitting in the examination hall, my hands still shaking from anxiety. Jake Harrison would never have power over me again. I started seeing the campus therapist. I threw myself into my research. I applied to 20 different jobs and internships, and when Microsoft reached out for an interview, I prepared like my life depended on it. Senior year, I didn't date. Didn't party. Didn't waste a single minute on anything that wasn't moving me forward. I finished my thesis, won the Departmental Research Award, got straight A's both semesters. And when they announced valedictorian last month, my name was the one they called. Sarah screamed so loud the entire auditorium heard her. My parents cried over video call, and I finally felt like myself again. Until 10 minutes ago when I saw Jake sitting in that audience, smiling like he had every right to be here on my day. The ceremony coordinator is reading through the program on her clipboard when I hear footsteps behind me. Emma, that voice, I haven't heard it in 14 months, but my body remembers. My shoulders tense, my jaw clenches. I turn around slowly. Jake is standing there, in khakis and a blue button-down, hands in his pockets, that same easy smile on his face, like we're old friends running into each other at a coffee shop. "Hey," he says. "You look great. Congratulations on valedictorian." I don't respond. I just stare at him, waiting. "Listen, I know this is probably weird, me being here," he continues, taking a step closer. "But I wanted to come support you. This is a big day. Support me. The audacity of that word." "You need to leave," I say quietly. "Emma, come on, don't be like that." He does this thing with his head, this little tilt he used to do when he wanted me to forgive him for something. "I'm proud of you." "Really? I always knew you'd do something amazing." My hands are shaking again, but this time it's not fear, it's rage. "You don't get to be proud of me," I say, my voice harder now. "You don't get to show up here and act like we're friends." "I just thought maybe we could talk after the ceremony," he says, pulling out his phone. "Grab coffee, catch up, for old time's sake, maybe even take a photo together. You know, show there's no hard feelings." He's already opening his camera app. No. The word comes out louder than I intended. The ceremony coordinator glances over at us. Concerned, Jake's smile falters for half a second, then comes back stronger. But his eyes are different now. Colder. "You're really going to be like this?" he asks, voice dropping lower. "After everything we had together, everything we had, I repeat, incredulous. You cheated on me. You told me I was too ambitious. You broke up with me right before my hardest final and nearly tanked my entire semester. I was young and stupid," he says, holding up his hands like he's the victim here. "People make mistakes, Em. I thought you of all people would understand that. You're supposed to be smart, right? Smart enough to forgive." That's when I see it. The calculation behind his eyes. This isn't about nostalgia or making amends. This is about control. One last time. "What do you really want, Jake?" He glances toward the stage entrance, then back at me. His smile is gone completely now. "I just think it would be really unfortunate if something disrupted your bit moment today," he says carefully. "Like, I don't know, someone bringing up things from the past, things that might be embarrassing to talk about in front of all these people. My blood runs cold. Are you threatening me? Threatening?" "No." He laughs, but it doesn't reach his eyes. "I'm just saying, maybe we should clear the air before you go out there. Make sure we're on the same page about our history, because I'd hate for there to be any misunderstandings. Publicly." Behind him, I see the blonde girl in the yellow sundress hovering near the backstage entrance, looking uncomfortable. She's watching us, and something in her expression tells me she knows exactly what Jade is doing, because she's probably seen him do it before. "You have 30 seconds to leave," I say, my voice steady now despite my racing heart, "or I'm calling security." Jake takes a step back, holding up his hands in mock surrender. Okay. "I'll be in the audience then, front section, row 5. I'll have my phone out, recording everything, you know, to remember this special day." He turns to walk away, then pauses and looks back over his shoulder. "Break a leg out there, valedictorian. I really hope your speech goes well." The way he says it makes it sound like a threat. Sarah appears at my side the moment he's gone, her hand on my arm. "What the hell was that? He's going to try to ruin this," I whisper. "I don't know how, but he's planning something." The ceremony coordinator taps her clipboard. "Miss Chen, you're on in 60 seconds. Are you ready?" I look at Sarah, then at the stage entrance, then back toward where Jake disappeared into the audience. I think about every night he made me feel small, every time he told me my dreams were too big, every moment I let him make me believe I was asking for too much. "Yeah," I say, straightening my shoulders. "I'm ready." The auditorium erupts in applause as Dean Morrison finishes introducing me. And now, to deliver our valedictorian address, Miss Emma Chen. The lights are blinding as I walk across the stage. 3,000 people, maybe more. Parents with cameras. Professors in their regalia. My entire graduating class in green and yellow gowns. I grip the edges of the podium and look out at the sea of faces. 3rd row, center. My parents. Mom is already crying. Dad has his phone up, recording. 5th row, 12 seats from the left. Jake, his phone is up too, pointed directly at me. The blonde girl sits next to him, staring down at her lap. I clear my throat and begin. 4 years ago, I came to the University of Oregon as a scared 18-year-old who didn't sure if she belonged here. My voice is steady, stronger than I expected. I want to talk today about resilience, about the moments that break us and the choice we make to rebuild. I'm 3 sentences into my prepared speech when I see Jake lean forward in his seat. He's not even pretending to be subtle. He's staring at me with this intensity that makes my stomach turn. Keep going. Don't let him see you falter. We all face obstacles in college, failed exams, rejection letters. Moments when we question if we're good enough, smart enough, strong enough. Jake stands up, right there in the middle of the auditorium during my speech. People around him glance over, confused. A few annoyed murmurs ripple through the crowd. I pause, my heart hammering against my ribs. He takes a step into the aisle. "Emma," he calls out. Not yelling, but loud enough that his voice carries through the sound system's silence. "Emma, can we talk? This is important." The auditorium goes completely quiet. 3,000 people turn to look at him, then back at me, then at him again. My parents are staring in shock. Sarah is half standing in her seat 6 rows back, her face horrified. Dean Morrison starts to rise from his chair on stage, but I hold up a hand. Not yet. Jake walks closer to the front, still holding his phone up, still recording. "I know this isn't the right time," he says, his voice carrying through the shocked silence. "But Emma, we really need to address some things about our past that I think these people should know before they celebrate you." My hands are gripping the podium so hard my knuckles are white. "Jake, sit down," I say into the microphone. My voice echoes through the speakers. "I will, I promise," he says, moving even closer. I just think it's important that everyone here knows the full story. About us, about what happened between us, about the person you really are when no one's watching. He's at the base of the stage now. Security is moving toward him from the side entrance, but he's talking faster. "See, Emma and I dated for 3 years, and during that time I saw a side of her that maybe her professors didn't see, the side that would do anything to get ahead. Anything to be number 1. My brain is screaming at me to respond, to defend myself, but I'm frozen. She would sabotage other students' projects. She would lie to professors about why she needed extensions. She would. That's enough." The voice isn't mine. It's the blonde girl in the yellow dress. She's standing now too, her face red, her hands clenched at her sides. Jake turns to look at her, surprised. "Melissa, sit down," he says, his voice low and dangerous. But Melissa doesn't sit down. She walks into the aisle, moving toward him. "No," she says, louder this time. "I'm not sitting down, and you're going to stop lying." The entire auditorium is riveted now. This isn't a graduation ceremony anymore. It's a spectacle. Jake's face darkens. "Melissa, we talked about this. You're supposed to be supporting me." "Supporting you while you ruin someone's graduation?" she asks, her voice shaking but determined. "While you make up lies about your ex because she's successful and you're bitter? No, I'm done." Security reaches Jake, hands on his arms, but he's still talking, still trying to shout over them. "Emma Chen's not who you think she is. She's cold, she's manipulative, get him out of here." Dean Morrison's voice booms through a microphone. 2 security officers physically lift Jake, who's still shouting, still recording on his phone, until one of the officers takes it from him. The auditorium is chaos, people talking, gasping, standing to get a better view. And I'm still at the podium, my prepared speech completely forgotten, watching my ex-boyfriend get dragged out of my graduation ceremony while his girlfriend stands in the aisle, tears streaming down her face. She looks up at me. Our eyes meet, and something passes between us. Recognition, understanding. We've both been here before. The auditorium is still buzzing with confused whispers when I take a breath and lean back into the microphone. "Well," I say, and my voice cracks a little, "that was unexpected." A few nervous laughs ripple through the crowd. I look down at my prepared speech, the carefully crafted words I spent weeks writing and memorizing, quotes about perseverance, statistics about our graduating class, a heartfelt thank you to professors and parents. None of it feels right anymore. I fold the paper and set it aside. I had a whole speech prepared, I say, looking out at 3,000 faces staring back at me with a mixture of concern and curiosity. But I think what just happened requires me to be honest with you all in a way I wasn't planning to be. My mom is crying harder now. My dad has lowered his phone, just watching me. That was Jake Harrison, my ex-boyfriend. And for anyone wondering, no, nothing he said was true. I never sabotaged anyone. I never lied to professors. I worked my ass off for 4 years to be standing here right now. A few people start clapping, but I hold up my hand. But here's the thing. Jake didn't come here today because he actually believes those lies. He came here because he wanted to take something from me. My moment, my achievement, my joy. I can see Melissa still standing in the aisle, security talking to her quietly but not removing her. And honestly, a year ago he would have succeeded. The auditorium is completely silent now. Everyone is listening. When Jake broke up with me 14 months ago, 3 days before my hardest final exam, I fell apart. Completely. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't focus. I nearly failed that exam, nearly threw away everything I'd worked for. Sarah is nodding in her seat, tears on her face, because I believed what he told me, that I was too ambitious, that I cared too much about success, that I was cold and robotic and unlovable because I had dreams that were bigger than his ego. More applause now. Building. But you know what? I'm standing here today, valedictorian of the class of 2025, with a job offer from Microsoft starting in September because I stopped believing his lies. I got help, I worked harder, and I learned that the right person will never ask you to make yourself smaller. The applause is louder now, sustained. So Jake, if you're still in earshot somewhere in the hallway with security, I want to say thank you. That gets surprised murmurs from the crowd. Thank you for showing me exactly what I don't want in a partner. Thank you for teaching me to recognize manipulation when I see it. Thank you for leaving, because staying with you would have been the biggest mistake of my life. The auditorium erupts, not polite graduation applause, real, thunderous, standing ovation applause. My professors are standing thumbs applause. My classmates are standing. Even Dean Morrison is on his feet, clapping. I wait for the noise to die down, my hands finally steady on the podium. Class of 2025, we've all had our version of Jake, the person who told us we couldn't do it. The class that seemed impossible. The rejection that felt like the end of the world. The moment we thought we weren't good enough. I make eye contact with random faces in the crowd. A girl in the front row nodding vigorously. A guy wiping his eyes. What? Parents clutching each other's hands. And we're all here anyway. We survived. We persevered. We graduated. More applause, but I keep talking over it. So when you walk across this stage today and get your diploma, I want you to think about everyone who said you couldn't, everyone who doubted you, everyone who tried to dim your light because their own was flickering out. I pause, letting it land. And I want you to prove them wrong. Every single day for the rest of your life. The auditorium is on its feet again. The roar is deafening. And then something happens that I don't expect. Melissa, still standing in the aisle, starts walking toward the stage. Security moves to stop her, but Dean Morrison waves them off. She climbs the stairs, slowly, nervously, until she's standing next to me at the podium. She's shaking. Can I say something? She asks me quietly, off microphone. I look at her. This girl I don't know. This girl who dated the same toxic person I did. This girl who just stood up for me when she had nothing to gain from it. I step aside and gesture to the microphone. Melissa leans in, her voice trembling but clear. My name is Melissa Torres. I'm not a student here. I came with Jake today because he told me you two were friends and he wanted to support you. The auditorium is silent again, listening. But 5 minutes before the ceremony started, he told me what he was really planning. He was going to humiliate you, publicly, and he wanted me to back him up. She wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. Jake and I have been dating for 8 months, and for 8 months he's told me I'm not ambitious enough, not pretty enough, not supportive enough. He criticizes everything I do. He controls where I go, who I talk to, what I wear. Her voice is stronger now. And watching him try to do to you what he's been doing to me for months finally made me realize something. She turns to look at me. It's not us. It's him. It's always been him. I don't even think. I just reach out and take her hand. The applause that follows shakes the entire building. Melissa is still holding my hand when she turns back to the microphone. Her grip is tight, like she's afraid if she lets go, she'll lose her nerve. I need to tell you all something else, she says, her voice steadier now. Something Jake doesn't know, I found out. The auditorium is so quiet you could hear a pin drop. 2 weeks ago, I was using Jake's laptop because mine was dead. I needed to print something for work, and I accidentally opened his email. She takes a shaky breath. There were messages, dozens of them, to Emma's professors, to the dean's office, to the university ethics committee. My stomach drops. He's been sending anonymous complaints about Emma for months, accusing her of academic dishonesty, plagiarism, claiming she cheated on exams. He even tried to report her thesis for fabricated data. The gasps from the audience are audible. My mom's hand is over her mouth. My dad looks like he's about to storm out of the auditorium to find Jake himself. Every single complaint was investigated, Melissa continues, and every single one was dismissed because they were lies, complete fabrications. But Jake kept sending them, hoping something would stick, hoping something would ruin her chance at valedictorian. I feel like I can't breathe. All those meetings with my thesis advisor last semester, where she asked if everything was okay. The email from the dean's office about a routine review of my academic record. The weird questions from the honors college about my research methodology. It was Jake. The entire time, I took screenshots of everything. Melissa says, pulling out her phone. I have proof. Emails, timestamps, all of it. And before I came here today, I forwarded everything to Dean Morrison's office. Dean Morrison is standing at the side of the stage now, his face grave. He nods at Melissa. I couldn't let him do this to you today, Melissa says, turning to me. I couldn't watch him try to destroy you the way he's been destroying me. So when he stood up and started lying, I couldn't stay quiet anymore. Tears are streaming down her face now. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I didn't come forward sooner. I'm sorry you had to deal with all those investigations because of him. I'm sorry. I pull her into a hug. The auditorium explodes with applause again, but I barely hear it. I'm holding this stranger who just blew up her entire relationship to defend me. This girl who could have stayed silent, who could have let Jake get away with it. When we finally pull apart, I take the microphone back. Melissa, I say, and my voice is thick with emotion. You have nothing to apologize for. Nothing. What you just did took more courage than anything I've done in 4 years of college. She's sobbing now, but she's smiling too. Class of 2025, I say, looking back out at the crowd. This is what real strength looks like. Not perfection, not never falling down, but standing up when it matters, even when you're scared. Especially when you're scared. Dean Morrison steps up to the podium, gently touching my shoulder. Miss Chen, Miss Torres, if you'll allow me a moment, he says into the microphone. Melissa and I step back. I want to assure everyone in this auditorium that the University of Oregon takes allegations of harassment and attempted sabotage extremely seriously, he says, his voice firm. Mr. Harrison will be banned from this campus effective immediately. And the evidence Miss Torres provided will be forwarded to the appropriate authorities. More applause, but Dean Morrison holds up his hand. Furthermore, I want to publicly apologize to Emma Chen. Every investigation we conducted into the anonymous complaints against her found absolutely no evidence of wrongdoing. Emma earned her position as valedictorian through exceptional work, integrity, and dedication, and she deserves to celebrate that without this cloud hanging over her. He turns to me, extending his hand. Emma, I'm sorry you had to endure this, and I'm proud to call you a graduate of this university. I shake his hand, tears finally spilling down my face. The audience is on their feet again. The roar is overwhelming. Sarah is jumping up and down in her row, screaming and crying. My parents are holding each other, both of them sobbing. My professors are clapping, my classmates are whistling and cheering, and standing next to me, also crying, is Melissa Torres, a girl I didn't know existed an hour ago, a girl who just changed both of our lives. Do you have anywhere to stay tonight? I ask her quietly, off microphone. She shakes her head. I came with Jake. All my stuff is at his apartment. You're staying with me, I say. And tomorrow, we're gonna get your stuff and you're never going back there. Deal? She nods, squeezing my hand again. Deal. Dean Morrison gestures for me to take the microphone one more time. I look out at 3,000 faces, at my parents, at Sarah, at my future. Let's finish this graduation, I say, and the auditorium roars its approval. 3 hours later, I'm standing in the courtyard outside the auditorium, diploma in hand, surrounded by family and friends. My mom hasn't stopped hugging me. Every 5 minutes, she pulls me close and whispers, "I'm so proud of you." In Mandarin, her voice breaking every time. My dad is showing my diploma to literally anyone who will look at it, telling them about my Microsoft job like it's his own personal achievement, which, in a way, I guess it is. They paid for all of this. Sarah is on her phone, texting everyone we know about what happened. This is literally going viral, she keeps saying. Someone posted a video and it already has 50,000 views. I should probably care about that, about the optics. About people seeing the messiest moment of my life broadcast across social media. But honestly, I don't. 'Cause standing next to Sarah, wearing a borrowed sundress from my apartment because she refused to put Jake's yellow dress back on, is Melissa. We've been trading stories for the past hour, comparing notes, realizing how many of the same tactics Jake used on both of us. The guilt trips, the isolation from friends, the constant criticism disguised as just trying to help you be better. The way he'd do something cruel and then act like you were crazy for being upset about it. He told me I was too sensitive, Melissa says, accepting a glass of champagne from one of my dad's friends. Every time I got upset about something he did, he'd say I was overreacting. He told me I was too cold, I reply, that I didn't show enough emotion. But when I did show emotion, I was being dramatic. We look at each other and laugh. Not happy laughter, the kind of laughter that comes when you realize how absurd it all was. We should start a support group, Sarah suggests. Survivors of Jake Harrison. I'll make t-shirts. That gets real laughs from all of us. My phone buzzes. I expect it to be another congratulations text from a family friend or former professor, but it's from an email address I don't recognize. The subject line says, Microsoft updated offer. My heart skips. I open it with shaking hands, Melissa and Sarah crowding around to read over my shoulder. Dear Emma, it reads, we at Microsoft were made aware of the events at your graduation ceremony today. A video has been circulating on social media, and several members of our leadership team, including myself, watched it. Oh, God, they're rescinding the offer. They think I'm dramatic, problematic, not professional enough. We want you to know, the email continues, that your grace, composure, and courage under extremely difficult circumstances only reinforced our decision to bring you onto our team. I stop reading. However, we would like to discuss a modified offer with you. Instead of the entry-level software engineering position we initially offered, we'd like to consider you for our leadership development program. This is typically reserved for candidates with several years of experience, but we believe your demonstrated character and resilience make you an exceptional fit. Sarah screams, right there in the courtyard.
The updated position comes with a starting salary of $120,000, plus relocation assistance and executive mentorship. Please call me at your earliest convenience to discuss. It's signed by the Vice President of Engineering.
The Vice President. I read it 3 times to make sure I'm not hallucinating. Emma, Melissa says softly, gripping my arm. Oh my God. My mom is reading over my shoulder now too, and she's crying again, and my dad is shouting something in Mandarin about calling his brother to brag. I look up from my phone and see Dean Morrison walking toward us across the courtyard. Miss Chen, he says, and he's smiling. I wanted to check on you. That was quite a ceremony. That's putting it mildly, I say, laughing. I also wanted you to know that we've contacted the police about Mr. Harrison's harassment campaign. Given the documented pattern of behavior and the attempted sabotage of your academic record, they're considering charges. Melissa tenses beside me. Will they need a statement from me? She asks. Most likely, yes, Dean Morrison says gently. But only if you're comfortable providing one. We understand this is a difficult situation. I'll do it, Melissa says immediately. Whatever it takes to make sure he can't do this to anyone else. Dean Morrison nods approvingly, then turns back to me. Emma, you've been a credit to this university. But more than that, what you did up there today, turning a moment of humiliation into a lesson about resilience and integrity, that's the kind of leadership we hope to instill in every student. You should be very proud. He shakes my hand one more time and walks away. I stand there in the courtyard, diploma in one hand, phone with the Microsoft email in the other, surrounded by people who love me. I think about 18-year-old Emma, scared and uncertain, walking onto this campus for the first time. I think about 21-year-old Emma, sobbing on her bathroom floor, convinced her life was over because a boy broke up with her. And I think about right now, 22-year-old Emma, valedictorian, Microsoft Leadership Development Program, free from Jake Harrison forever. Hey, Sarah says, nudging me. What are you thinking about? I look at her, at Melissa, at my parents. At my diploma, I'm thinking, I say slowly, that I can't wait to see what comes next. Sarah raises her champagne glass. To what comes next, she says. To what comes next, we all echo. And as the sun sets over the University of Oregon campus, on my graduation day, I finally let myself believe it. My future isn't something Jake Harrison or anyone else can take from me. It's mine, and it's just beginning.